3-1 right now. Of course, this is best of 9, so we do need to go to 5 to have a winner here. Well, I don't know. You've sent in a Zerg, of course, who had a very interesting build to try and counteract Laughing Man there with that with the Nidus Worm and the Hydras. Just a little bit of a surprise party there. But I don't know what do you do, because as we were saying before, with Laughing Man, he's got very good skills with those cannons. So we sending in a Protoss is probably not the best of ideas right at the moment. I mean, who have we got left? We got Tragic Hero, Lemmings as well.
Neo Xenos is the other Terran on TCP's lineup. I think Neo Xenos, I haven't heard much of him lately, but I'm pretty sure I used to hear a fair bit about him. I'm thinking of the right person. But as I said, I wouldn't be sending in a Protoss at this point against Laughing Man. So you try another Zerg, considering you didn't really get a chance to test his PvZ skills that game.
Yeah, I think if I was Laughing Man right now and another Zerg came in, this is where you would cheese a Zerg. Double proxy in base with the gateway, something like that. Perhaps try something funny like that to see if you can, you know, he knows that you know that he knows that he knows sort of situation. But either way, while we're waiting for the next map and the next player, I will direct you guys in the chat. There is a facebook.com/Team Envision Starcraft. That's their Facebook page. If there is a TCP one or a TCP place that someone would like to be directed to, like a Twitter or something like that, please let me know. Post in the chat. I do have links on, so you can post some a link to something TCP related in there. But yeah, of course, go and press the like button on the iVn page. Give them a bit of love. It's all good. And yeah, of course, show some support for local teams in Australia and the C region. All the good thing to do. Especially since, we've only got around about half an hour to go till we're all dead. So
now's the time to support.
Yeah, now is the time. Now is the time to support esports, man. Get out there, do something good. And of course, while you're waiting for that, you can also jump onto Twitter. If you don't have me already, it's at DUCKVILLE. We got this fellow casting with me with the expert comments is at MGG Alpha. You can go and add him. you can go and add him in on Twitter there as well. And of course, you can jump onto Facebook, facebook.com/duckville.casting. and DUCKVILLE on YouTube as well. There are going to be a couple of really cool games going up tonight on my YouTube channel from the Team Liquid replay pack of the week, featuring Liquid C, his final replay pack from Team Liquid, of course, after his very saddening departure from the team. But let's put it this way, there is a mech TVP in there. There is also a rather long TVZ that ends with quite a bang, so make sure you do check those out once those are up, and of course you'll be able to see that those are up through my Twitter or Facebook page. And it looks like we will have our 5th game now ready here. It is going to be a, well, TVP. I think you called it there. With the player who's going to come out. Just waiting for Laughing Man to select his race properly, unless he's a race picker now.
It's a very funny choice of map to use against Laughing Man here. The next game will be on WCS Antigua Shipyard, and there's two sides to this. On one side, Antigua is a really strong map for Terrans. Once you get single base play, because the drops it's such a good map for dropping, because your main army goes towards their natural and then can split off quite easily into the double prong position. Or if they're ready for drops, you can keep them together and push. So that moment where you split your army is such a good position on this map, which is why it's a very Terran-favored map, like in the sense that lots of Terrans like it. But on the other hand of the equation, with the position of the natural, cannon rushing becomes so strong on this map, because cannons on the low ground, I'm pretty sure can just reach the gases and then from there, one next layer, they can hit the minerals. So you only need 2 layers of cannons for this one.
Yeah, there's a couple of things with cannon rushing on this map. What we'll do is we'll introduce the players and then I'll just quickly go over them, because I am well versed in cannon rushing this map. Yeah, I watch Gallsy quite a lot. I also watch one of my former teammates, Sickness from Dream Team Gaming. He used to do some brilliant cannon rushing on this map. But let's get into it. We are here on Antigua Shipyard, and our blue Protoss player up at the top left-ish side of Antigua Shipyard is our player for TCP. It is Xenos, Pacific Xenos, PCFC, as he is known in the actual thread about this. But he's going to be facing up against the cheesy wonder himself, or perhaps not so cheesy. We'll find out very soon after this game, I think. If you're willing to try and cheese a Terran player on this map, especially in these positions, which we'll get to in a minute, you know, you may be the pro. It is LM, Laughing Man. So, what I was going to say...
Before you get into this analysis,
yeah,
can I just cut in at this point? The chat, if you guys can see what's going on, basically, is a Laughing Man saying that he's seen Pacific Xenos watching his stream, has seen him, he thinks he's been watching this stream as well. So, a bit of the metagame going on, saying, I might actually have to play standard. And Xenos saying that he's just asking, please don't cannon rush. Do what you want, just don't cannon rush. So, really curious to see how Laughing Man goes, but there we go, the gateway being dropped down, but nonetheless you can tell us about your expert analysis on cannon rushing on this map.
Pretty much, this map has two bases that are very easy, as in, you know, bronze players will be able to cheese this. One is the top right hand side here, where you can pile on here, and then pile on just on the right side, and then start cannoning from that point. You can, even if you want to be extra sexy points, you can put a gateway here to fully wall that off and make it just impossible to bust in. You can also do some things with, as Alpha was alluding to, with a pylon on the high ground, cannon on the low here, and then a couple of pylons to try and wall this off. But unfortunately, given that this is a WCS version, with that supply depot there, that kind of blocks it off. But in these positions, as we can see here, the same sort of situation comes up for LM on this side. Just with the supply depot there to block off this particular area, what you would normally do is pylon about there, and I think the other one's about there, and you can cannon on the low ground here. But we're not going to see any of that, so that all that fantastic analysis of how to cannon rush is completely moot, given that we're not going to see anything like that. As we can see, both players just starting off very standard here. Xenos has actually scouted out that the gateway is there, sees the cybernetics core also on the way. Looks like it is just going to be a standard one gate expansion here from LM. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, our blue Terran Xenos is going to be putting down that command center just after the racks, and as we said, looks like things are just going to be pretty standard for the moment.
Curious going to Laughing Man's scouting pattern. He actually scouted the bottom left, so I wonder if he's unaware of the map changes on this map, which is always a little interesting thing to see, the difference between, you know, ladder playering and going into the tournament play. I'm trying to think, I don't think I've ever seen Laughing Man standard TVP. I've seen him play some TVP, but it started with cannon rushing. I've seen it go into extended. But, you know, after that advantage of holding the cannon rush, I don't think I've ever seen him do some standard stuff, so we'll have to see how he plays out. But I do want to reiterate that, you know, he's been holding in the top 8 Grandmaster for a long time, and I doubt that he's done that purely from cannon rush. So he's obviously going to be a very strong player outside of it.
Definitely the case. Only, as I said, the only person I know to get to like high masters and even play against grandmasters players with cannon rushing is Ballsy. So we don't have him in the game at the moment, but it looks like the Stalker just going to get his quick scout in, going to see if that command center has gone down, and of course it has. May try and snipe down one or two of these SCVs.
All those Marines letting
incredible. But yeah, wow.
Yeah, letting those Marines out of position, and that might have saved him, but no, he does get them back in time. So really, for the cost of one Stalker and one Zell, that really is a nice play for Xenos, but quite saddening for Laughing Man to lose both of those units. He's doing some nice micro here, but I don't think he picked off any of the SCVs.
He got one of the Marines. He got one of the Marines, so I don't know. Just confirming.
Not worth it. Yeah, doing the.
Yeah, I think obviously the main thing here was confirming that orbital command was here. If you aren't able to fully confirm, then there could be something crazy coming along. It could be TLO, 7 racks inside your base. Confirmation when it comes to intelligence in this game is obviously one of the cornerstones of playing at a high level. So I do like the fact that he at least attempted to see what was going on. You don't want to sort of be sitting in the dark. As we mentioned in previous games, of course, hesitation, a bit of an issue there. If you're not sure what your opponent's doing, you may hesitate, and thus you may cause an unforced error. Going in a little bit of tennis terminology there, but that is certainly the case. So He does scout that everything is pretty much standard for the current sort of state of TVP, in that the Terran player has gone for the command center after the racks, and now we can see that it is going to continue on with very standard sort of stuff here from Xenos. He's got his factory just on the way here. We can assume that he's going to go into a starport just straight after that. Perhaps looking for that 11-minute timing. Of course, it's around about 11 minutes, 11:30, depending on how quick and how crisp you are with your build. But of course, what you want to have is a +1 on your infantry weapons, stim also done, and then of course you can push across the map with maybe 1 or 2 marauders and a bunch of marines. And of course, those 2 first medevacs. So we'll see if that's the plan here from Xenos. Meanwhile, for LM, he's got his robo out. Going to send that observer across. What are you sort of looking to see here if you're the Protoss player?
Well, I have to say, before even that, Xenos, while you're having your talk there, he just had a scout going, and it scouted everything that was available, except for the gas at the natural. But he saw the 3 gate, saw the robo, so you can see this was a very stand play. Saw the sentry count, so he knew the sentry count. At this time, the main thing to check for is that the starport has been put down, and he's not doing some sort of crazy racks thing. You get the general timing of that medivac, and as you're saying, it's a very common build with the +1 stim medivac timing, so you're trying to just confirm that one's on its way.
Yep.
Which he did scout the timing exactly as the starport had lifted off, and he scouted it landing. The beginning of this push coming out as the Marines and Marauders start their push out, and the second observer will scout a single Marine. He didn't scout the main army, so from there he might be able to put together that the main army is moving out, or he may have missed that. Yeah. But he should know this timing is coming. It is very common timing, and in response to that, he's getting the next 2 gateways, which you want to do. So it's 3 gateways into that robo, and then as the push is getting prepared to happen, add in the extra gateways. And he has got double forge going nice and early as well, so if he does hold this, he'll be in a really nice spot.
Yeah, so...
And not even... sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say, so very, very standard at the moment for both of these players. A couple of Stalkers are going to be inside the main to deflect, or at least attempt to deflect any sort of medevac run-bys that might happen. I keep looking at medevacs and I keep thinking, wow, these things are going to be so fast when they use their boost, but then I realize we're not in Heart of the Swarm, so they're not going to have that. That thing is absolutely insane. So it looks like Xenos is going to go for a multi-pronged attack. Of course, a very common thing to see in this opening phase of TVP. Of course, you'll have a medevac dropping in, trying to come in through the back. Laughing Man does have a couple of cannons prepared. In fact, they're going to get up just in time, I think.
Yeah, so yeah. Laughing... Xenos will have to be watching his medivac, and it's not, and it's now caught between 3 cannons. So this drop will be able to fair bit, especially for a couple of Stalkers in the base, while the main army is poising outside. We have Sentry and a Colossus to defend that. So very nice defense. I don't think he lost any real damage. He lost 1 or 2 Stalkers, that's it, and a cannon.
Wow.
So very nice position for Laughing Man, but a big Doom drop coming in into the main. Will they be able to take out the Cybernetics? Nice if they could take out that Robo, but I really don't see him taking out both. But definitely the Cybernetics will go down. And will he be targeting here, just taking out the few Stalkers?
Oh my.
There he goes. That's what we're looking for.
Oh my.
He does take out the Robo, so this... Oh, that factory! Did you see
factory.
That factory there? That is an amazing play. I did not even notice that until just then. I was like, where is his army?
MKP factory to save the day there. Beautifully done. A couple of force kills.
At the same time, with the flank, he did manage to take out the Colossus down the bottom. So with no Colossus out now and no robotics, this drop has done so much for him.
Very nicely done there by Xenos. Of course, that the MKP style factory to block out any sort of hits. And yeah,
he's got the Twilight down to 12 HP, and if he can take that out, that resets the tech completely. He's got no Cybernetics, no Robo, and soon to have no Twilight. He could keep pushing forward. I imagine that he will be able to take this, but I just want to, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Confirmation, taking out that tech, completely resetting it, and with that we have the GG. That factory play.
Whoa.
My god.
Whoa.
That is one of the best plays I have seen in a very long time, dropping that factory right there. Wow. I'm like, oh my god at that. Who is that, Xenos? Lemmings, make sure you get that replay, or someone on TCP, get that replay, cut that little action bit there, and fucking YouTube that, because that was great.
Someone put that in like a dubstep video with like YOLO swag and just be like factory dropping down, and that's like the drop in the dubstep. But, yeah,
some great play there.
Really nice.
Yeah, Laughing Man at the beginning of that attack, you know, he defending it so well because he had the cannons, being very careful with the cannons. A bit it's one of those things that getting 3 cannons, I would say, is being a bit overly safe, but it worked to cut down that drop, and he was completely safe at the front. But then, yeah, coming back for the Doom drop, and then Tommy at the front. Like, I was looking at the supply count, and Laughing Man was a fair bit ahead after that play there. So I was really feeling worried for Xenos, and it's such an awesome play to get himself not only back in the game, but resetting that tech and winning it for him.